Hey, it's Coach Jen. I'm going to give you some motivation to keep on sticking to what you're doing. I'm seeing and I'm hearing a lot of people saying they're having a hard time sticking to their exercise program, or they're having a hard time sticking to a good, clean nutrition plan for various and sundry reasons. And what I can tell you is we can find 1,001 excuses to not do something. Super easy to find these excuses. I can come up with these things myself every day. Before I go work out, I can come up with 1,001 reasons why I just don't have time to do this workout this morning. I've got all these lists of things that I need to do. The food thing I usually don't give up on, but that's because I really like to eat food. So I really like healthy food. So I usually don't come up with 101 excuses on that one. But definitely exercise. Oh yeah, super easy to come up with excuses to avoid that. And this is what I do. I kind of say, suck it up, buttercup. You got to do this. And there's, a few good reasons for that. Exercise is not the only component in losing weight and getting in shape. It's about 30%, nutrition being the other part of it for losing weight. So, and I'm right about the ballpark weight that I want to be at anyway. So I'm not as overly concerned about using exercise for that. What I do like about working out, and trust me, I love working out, I really do, but some days it does take a little bit more to get motivated. It's the fact that I'm 45 years old. Nobody can tell that by looking at me. I have the body of somebody about 10 years younger, and that's because I work out. That is the effects of daily exercise, of really pushing yourself to your limits and establishing physical goals for yourself each and every day. The fact that I feel stronger and I'm able to do more each day that I do these workouts, that says a lot right there. So, and I can tell you that when I was actually 35, I probably looked closer to 40. And the reason being because I was pushing about 190 pounds and I was wearing a size 16 pants and actually starting to bust out of that. So now I'm running around 150, 155 and I'm wearing about a size 10. Huge difference, really, when you look at it. Nobody could tell how heavy I was by looking at me, and still nobody can tell how heavy I am by looking at me because I got a lot more muscle mass on me than when I was overweight. It was because I'm tall. I'm 5'8". So being tall, my weight could spread out more, so people had no idea how heavy I was. But really, I was overweight. It was taking its toll on me, That was the reason why I injured my knee when I was 34, because I was too heavy and I was wearing armor on top of that. So it didn't take much for my knee to decide to give out on me because I was putting too much stress on it. When I was 35, 36 is when I made that turning point and decided to get that gym membership. But when I was in that 35, 36 range, I was having a hard time going up a flight of stairs. I was walking funny. I was starting to waddle. I was doing that stuff that obese people do. And I was not liking it. And then I kept remembering my mom died at 53. And the reason she died is because she was morbidly obese. And I decided I wasn't going to head down that path. That was not for me. I had things I wanted to do in this life, and I wanted to be physically capable of doing them. And I hadn't done them yet. So I needed to make sure that I was physically capable of doing them. So these are things that go through my mind when I'm coming up with excuses as to why I'm going to skip my workout. I sit there and I say, nope, these are my reasons. This is why I do this. This is why I love it. And truly I do. I feel fantastic. I might be tired. I might be a big puddle of sweat on the floor when I'm done and barely able to get off my mat, but I do feel good after doing the workout. Now the nutrition thing, part of that is out of necessity for me. It's much more affordable to buy your own food and make it than it is to buy conveniently packaged food and make things from that. So this is why I make all my food, and I do a lot of food prepping. It makes it, it's just more affordable that way. Having it ready ahead of time means I can quickly put something together. I don't give myself permission to skimp on my food. So when I know I'm running low on vegetables, that's a day I make a trip to the store to make sure I've got more, so that I've always got my servings of fruits and vegetables each day. In fact, I need to get more vegetables, so I have enough to fill my allotment of containers each day. More kale is on my list. So these are things I can't skip on it, and I can't skimp on not preparing my food ahead of time and just saying, oh well, I'll just go pick up this. There have been a few times where I've done that, and what I've done is I've actually spent more money and gone to a grocery store like Heinen's and picked up some of their prepared vegetables. And it's strictly like broccoli or grilled veggies, and they're just straight up vegetables. And then I use that as my serving of vegetables. But even then, you don't know how much oil you're getting in it. You don't know how much other stuff you're getting in it that you don't necessarily want, like sodium, for example. So I don't do that very often. Plus, you pay more. When you look at the serving size that you get out of that and how much you pay for it, it's actually more affordable for you to do it yourself. So I don't do that very often, but every now and then something happens and I end up having to do it. So, I mean, there's options, but really when it comes down to, you have to make time in order to make your food. If you take a day on a weekend when you're not working, do that. Buy those containers, those Glide Lock containers. They make them in glass too, that are entree size, and make up a bunch of lunches and dinners and package them up in that and throw them in the freezer. And then all you have to do is just pull it out. I don't mind eating the same food every day. I pretty much do. I alternate my lunches and my dinners, but pretty much everything else is the same. It just makes it easier. You don't have to think too much about what you're going to eat and plan ahead of time. There's lots of shortcuts out there for still being able to eat clean. There's crockpot cooking for people who like the option of crockpot, where you just program your crockpot, it turns on, and then you have dinner ready when you get home. I just prepared stuff that I use all the time anyway, like my grains and my beans and my lentils. I've always got something like that floating around in the refrigerator, so I just have to portion out my serving size. And then the vegetables are the only thing I have to do. I use a mandolin slicer. There's also a food processor. You can use that to cut up your vegetables. That is a time saver. The mandolin slicer, you're done. You just slice up your vegetables, you're done. I make sauteed vegetables in no time because of that. I'll just use that slicer and throw it on. I like my vegetables crispy anyway. Throw it on the skillet, the heat for a few minutes, throw in some herbs, and then I'm set. I got sauteed vegetables. 15 minutes. So really, 15 minutes, my grains and my proteins were already cooked and prepped and ready to go. The longest time it took was 15 minutes to make my vegetables. I think the big thing, and part of why we come up with these excuses, is there's something inside of us that we're having a hard time dealing with, that we're not liking. And so it's easier to stick with these old patterns of behavior, to seek out the comfort of these old patterns of behavior, rather than letting them go and moving on and trying something new that actually is healthy for you. That we aren't seeking that healthier thing. Because I have to say, I actually prefer healthy foods to junk foods. I'm not saying I don't junk out. I do. I went camping this weekend. I totally junked out this weekend. In fact, I came home and got a large Frosty. Part of that was because I was kind of exhausted, and that's a comfort thing. I'll not making any excuses there. I totally did it. We all have those moments, but that's not my primary diet. My primary diet is healthy, whole foods. And part of the reason is because I do love myself. Maybe there are aspects of me that I'm not happy with sometimes, but for the most part, I really do love myself, and I am drawn to foods that are only going to benefit me. So whatever you have to do to work on yourself, to get you into a place where you can drop the excuses and you can make the time for exercise, you can make the time for your food prep, you can make those choices to choose the healthier foods. Whatever you have to do for yourself, if it is you have to lock yourself up in your room and meditate every single day for at least 20 minutes a day, do it. Whatever it is that you have to do. If you have to take a nice hot bath at least once a week and tell your family that you don't exist for that hour, do it. Whatever you have to do to make you feel better about yourself so that you can take care of yourself and do healthy things for yourself, that's what you need to do. Because you cannot provide for anyone else in your life if you don't have anything to give them. So you need to give to yourself first. And then you'll have plenty to give to other people afterwards. And you'll be coming from a much better place to give for them too. So that's my motivation. Take care of yourself, love yourself, and everything will click into place like you would not believe. And when you need a coach, I'm there for you. I will be your biggest cheerleader. I will help you move on. If you're having some issues, you just let me know. I will work with you on getting you past whatever roadblock you got in your way so that you can be the best you that is possible. I'm doing the same thing for myself. I am working every day at being the best me that I can be so that I can be a better coach for you. All right. If you have any questions, you want to talk more about this, comment below or send me a message. Thanks. Bye.